Hello and welcome to Tune Into Wellness Today. My name is Lisa Marie Tersini. I am a holistic health counselor, nutrition coach, and founder and owner of Inspiring Wellness Solutions. Tune Into Wellness Today is a show that is promoting natural health and wellness throughout the community. We today have 3 guests that will be speaking about their programs or services in natural health. My goal is to be an integral source in the community to bringing natural wellness to people to help them, prevent them from being ill, to prevent surgeries and unnecessary pharmaceutical use. Today our first guest is Donna Williams. Donna Williams is the founder of a company called Field Goods. It has been in business since 2010. Field Goods is a specialized farm to community product. Welcome, Donna, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Lisa.
Tell me a little bit about what motivated you to start Field Goods.
Well, I had actually done a study for Greene County Agriculture, or the Greene County IDA Economic Development Group. And they had asked me to take a look at how to grow agriculture in Greene County. And so I did the study, and it was mainly focused on how do we help young farmers get started farming. There's a lot of people that are interested in doing that, and Greene County is a place that has quite a bit of land. And out of that study came the idea for Field Goods, where I realized, well, one of the big challenges is distribution. There's a lot of people that want local product, they want small farm product, but it's challenging to get it. There's only so many farmers markets that can be out there, and we only have so much time on Saturday morning to go to them and things like that.
What a great concept. Tell me, if you would, what is the difference between Field Goods produce, the fresh fruits and vegetables, and the other products that you market? What is the difference between those and those that you will purchase at a commercial grocery market?
Well, we really focus on small farm product. And as a practical matter, the farms in our area are small farms. So they use a different growing process, as you would imagine, just like the difference between mass market t-shirts and somebody that crafts them at home. So the small farm product is one that is grown for its nutritional quality and its taste, and not really for its ability to be sold through a grocery store, which requires a long shelf life, a consistent size, shape, look, etc. So it's a very different product.
Oh, I'd love to hear that. So the difference between a commercial product that might be sold in a commercial market may not have, or may be chemicalized in a certain way, to use that word, or have non-organic pesticides on it to keep its longevity. Your products do not, then.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a little bit more nuance to it in the sense that the seed companies and the farmers and the industrial agricultural community, if you will, has also really refined the products to be hybrids of a carrot, where the primary trait of that carrot is that it will grow straight and it will grow in a certain type of soil in a certain type of way, in a certain type of size consistency. So that's one part of it. And then, of course, there are large industrial farms that do certified organic farming. But one of the big differences is, even with those organic larger farms, is that the smaller farms have people out in the fields. So the people out in the fields are seeing what's going on out there. So a smaller farm will use pesticides or fertilizers, etc., I'd say prophylactically, like you'd use a malaria medicine so that you don't get it. So they'll use it, the larger farms will use it prophylactically because they don't have the people out in the fields looking at it. So they're using large equipment. Mm-hmm. So the equipment can't tell the difference. So they'll spray or fertilize the entire area that they're growing in, whereas the smaller farms will use it specifically when they see a problem. So there's just a lot less product, regardless of the farming method that's used with the smaller farms. And if for no other reason, it's expensive to use. And we have a whole variety of different farming methods that are used in our area in the Hudson Valley.
How do you specifically work with the farmers then?
What we do is, and it's a because of the way we sell it, it's a really beneficial relationship between us and the farmer. I call around and I find out what people have available. So, for instance, last week there's a new product that one of our farms is growing called kale sprouts, and it's a hybrid Brussels sprout kale. It's late in the season. He said, I've got these things, they're phenomenal. I've got to get them out of the field because it's going to get really cold and it's going to snow. So I said, okay, we can take them. And I can do that because with the Field Goods product, when you subscribe to it, you get a selection of produce. You don't select it yourself, we select it for you. So I can say to him, okay, I can take, 2,000 pounds of something and work with them on that basis. So that really helps the farmers a lot. We really try to work with young farmers that are starting, but we also work with, the guys that have been around 400 years. So
what is really very unique about your product and program is that you deliver it to employer sites for employees. So you're giving employees a benefit, a wellness benefit. Yep. You're also just delivering it to community.
Yes.
Drop-off sites. Inspiring Wellness Solutions in Everett Road is one of those as an example. Tell me how that actually works, how you set that process up so that employees can take advantage of that.
Sure. Well, what we do is we, in general, will speak to the HR department or somebody that's on a company's wellness committee. A lot of company organizations are saying we've got to really help our employees with their health. So they create committees, wellness committees that are looking for solutions. So Field Goods is a great one because it doesn't cost the employer anything. And it is a sustainable product. It helps local farms. It resonates on a number of different levels. But the HR person, whomever it is at an organization, and often it's just an employee, will say, okay, we'd like Field Goods. We put that company up on our website, and then people can start ordering. And then once a week, we deliver it. And it's easy as that. We bring it to the company between X and Y, and people come and grab it and
X and Y being the time frames
exactly.
between 3 and 4. You have over 100 products, correct?
Well, actually, it's even more than that. We have delivered over 150 different varieties of local produce. It's really a pretty remarkable number that are
it is remarkable there. And as someone that promotes nutritional wellness as I do, I promote seasonal, local, always, because you're going to receive the most nutrient value in something that's seasonal and local, because as it travels, it loses some of that nutritional value the older that it is. And seasonal is very important to kind of stay in harmony with that time of year. So for example, in the summertime you want to eat fresh fruits and green salads because they keep your body cool, right? Something harder in the wintertime keeps you warm. Give me 1 or 2 benefits for employees or the general public taking advantage of this.
Variety is one of the biggest benefits, and as any nurse in school will tell you, you're supposed to eat your colors. So there is a large variety of products that are out there that you just won't find. Like, we deliver purple carrots, and those have a different nutrient composition than orange carrots, and we have yellow carrots, white carrots, purple potatoes, red potatoes. So you get a wide variety, and also because you're not picking it, which sounds a little scary, it actually isn't. You're going to try things that you never would otherwise have tried. That's which fabulous. Is really important, and something that people really start to appreciate once they get like this kale sprout product.
That is fabulous. So you're doing an introduction of a lot of new products for people as well. Thank you so much for being with us. It's just absolutely amazing that you've done this. I greatly appreciate you bringing it to the communities. If you would like to reach out to Donna, you can reach her at www.field-goods.com or Donna at field-goods.com. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you, Lisa.
Our second guest is Dr. Brian Cashion. Dr. Cashion is a psychotherapist who specializes in post-traumatic stress disorder, bereavement and grief, stress and anxiety issues. Welcome, Brian. How are you today?
Very good, Lisa Marie. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. It's so great to have you. Dr. Cashion, could you tell me, I know you've worked with veterans, quite a bit of work with veterans and our military personnel. How do you work with them? What is your approach when it comes to post-traumatic stress disorder?
Well, as a veteran myself, Lisa Marie, I focus primarily on the whole wellness of the veteran, with issues of PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, and the various anxiety and stress disorders, as well as the military service and the complications and issues that are brought up with serving our country. Not only the individuals, but the families themselves, and if they have children, the children. It is an overall encompassing focus, and the therapy can last a short period or long periods, and it's really up to myself as a therapist and my client to focus again on the recovery process and the goals and the intentions and the desire to really end up with a positive and a therapeutic result.
Now, I understand that you use a holistic approach as well as a spiritual approach. You can tell me how that works for you. When you talk about spiritual approach, spirituality is very different than religion per se, correct?
Yes.
Although a lot of people interchange the two. What is the spiritual approach that you bring into this type of counseling?
Oh, sure. My PhD is in pastoral counseling, and I have a Master of Divinity through seminary. And so the pastoral counseling approach, the spiritual counseling, is a combination of clinical psychology with the religious or spiritual nature of approaching and resolving issues and problems for my clients. It's really focused not per se on a specific religion or anything, but it's for that, again, that wholeness of mind, body, and spirit, and the results, therefore, of therapy, of communication, and of that positive aspect of counseling as a whole.
When you speak about holistic, and holistic means the entire body,
Yes.
But in working with families, are you bringing the children and the spouses in the counseling sessions as well?
If so desired by my client, absolutely.
Okay.
It is a complete concept with counseling, because everyone has, whether it's the spouse or the children, everyone has effects from the individual having the problems, whether PTSD or anxiety, stress, or bereavement. And I think all those issues, everyone is affected again, and so it's really making sure that everyone realizes the situation and is joined in resolving the problems.
That's fabulous. Now, how do you help people find serenity in this very chaotic world that we have?
Now, that's always the difficult problem. I think we all go through phases in our lives where we're seeking that unknown. I think that's what keeps us going, that mystery in life. And I think that serenity, which is a part of that peacefulness, that awareness that we have intrinsically within us, that we seek that out and we want that. And I think that with family, friends, therapy, and good communication, we can all achieve that. That's something that we all desire.
The mind, body, spirit approach is a little bit of a different approach than maybe certain therapists would use. Or psychiatrists might use a different approach. So just please touch on that a little bit for me, how your approach it would be different than those two specialists.
Sure. Well, I do believe that a good health, a good attitude, a good diet, exercise, and clear process, and what separates myself from a psychiatrist, for example, is a medical doctor, and a psychologist is a little different, because I'm a combination of the spiritual person as well as the psychologist. So I believe that being at peace with ourselves and with others is really the prime concern, I think, but with all therapy. And it is making sure that all those aspects are met in our lives. So if it's a certain faith for someone, or if it's seeking something beyond what we have in the physical world, something, again, going back to that mystery, I think that's what keeps us going, and that's the end result that we're all seeking.
You've been practicing for over 20 years, and thank you for doing that, because I'm sure that you've helped heal many people. What are a few of the benefits that some of your clients have received over the years?
Peace of mind, absolutely. A new approach, a new dynamic in life, I think, if I could say that. A new way of confronting problems and issues and resolving them. Kind of being them being their own troubleshooter. And I think that's what it is, not to hide and run away from problems or issues, but really to be forthright and actually resolve the issues and problems, and not to let them fester for very long. Because usually the results are very good.
And by communicating, which you've mentioned several times, that will help us to bring those feelings, sensations out of ourselves, put them out there so that we can work through them, kind of face them and walk through them.
Absolutely. I think that's what's always lacking, I think, in family concerns, in personal concerns. It's really communication. Mm-hmm. That is the key to everything in our lives.
Well, I thank you so much for being here. It's just been great to have you here. Thank you for being a conduit to healing. It's very important what you do. If you would like to reach out to Brian, Dr. Cashion, you can reach him at info@inspiringwellnesssolutions.com or www.inspiringwellnesssolutions.com. Thank you, Dr. Cashion.
Thank you, Lisa.
Our third guest today is Buffy Owens from Conscious Movements. Buffy is a Guild certified Feldenkrais method practitioner. She's been practicing mind-body energy work for over 15 years and Feldenkrais since 2010. Welcome, Buffy.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Glad to have you. I understand Feldenkrais is an innovative educational movement type of function. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Feldenkrais method, kind of the essence of it is learning how to learn and learning about yourself, your habits, your movement, your preferences. And we use movement as the basis for learning how to learn. And within that, there are actually two ways we approach it. One is through classes, verbal guidance, awareness through movement, and the other is through a hands-on approach called functional integration.
Okay. So do those two practices then, are they interchangeable?
They are interchangeable to a certain degree. So they are similar in the sense that in either approach we're working with this idea of function or organization, and those themes stay pretty consistent, whether you're doing awareness through movement or functional integration. However, they're also different in the sense that with the awareness through movement, you get to, as an adult, really utilize your verbal centers to make sense of what's being asked of you, and then using that, turning that into movement and exploring sensation that way. With the hands-on movement, with the functional integration, it's more the practitioner moving you gently and moving with you. So there's less of a need for the verbal centers to be activated. So you really get to step more and more into that kinesthetic, that ability to sense yourself and know yourself through movement, through sensation.
Where was and how did Feldenkrais originate?
Oh, that's an excellent question. So it's named after the founder, Moshe Feldenkrais, and he I think really launched it in Israel, and from there he taught two trainings here in the United States. There were trainings in Germany, and now there are trainings all over the world. So there was actually a point in time in Israel where he was running awareness through movement classes over the radio, which is sort of a wonderful thing.
That is a wonderful thing. And that group awareness piece is the one that I would be doing independently if I were to do that without the, your help, the practitioner moving for me. Is that a program that I could take home with me and practice on my own then?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there are lots of awareness and movement classes. Well, depending on where you're located. But there are also many lessons that are recorded. So it is definitely something you can do at home. And I actually think that's one of the great benefits of the awareness through movement is even if you are doing functional integration in the privates, to have access to develop a home practice. Because the more that you practice, the more that you move, the more things change.
Now tell me why you, one, chose Feldengrass when there's so many modalities out there available to educate yourself on, and two, why someone would come to see you / Feldengrass.
Great, yeah. So I chose it mostly because I was obsessed with learning, and so to move into a modality that allowed me to continue to learn for the rest of my life was very exciting. So that was sort of one reason. And the other was seeing practitioners who had been practicing for 20, 30, 40 years, practitioners who were in their 70s and even early 80s, and their quality of movement, their quality of presence was phenomenal. And I was really like, if that's what I'm going to get after 40 years of doing this, absolutely. Absolutely.
That is wonderful. One thing I wanted to ask you is that adaptation of the brain function, because you're retraining your brain somewhat, correct?
Yeah.
Do you notice that the brains are trained quicker with younger versus older? I mean, is there a slower process as one ages, or does that?
It depends on how young you look. So I would say for children, absolutely. It can happen really fast. And the younger the child, even the faster it can happen. But I think, we continue to develop through our whole lifespan. And the research being done with neuroplasticity and what's available is pretty phenomenal. It's pretty phenomenal. So you continue to create new brain cells, connections until the day that you die. So the potential for growth is really, I think, unlimited. And does that answer your question?
It does, thank you. You have a passion for working with women and children. Can you just touch on that a little bit for me?
Absolutely. So I love working with pregnant women, expecting women, and young children, especially up to independent walking, and for a whole variety of reasons. With the women, there is sort of a twofold. One, to help prepare them for labor and birth. I volunteered at UCSD Medical Center in San Diego as a doula, so I enjoy that process of supporting women through birth. But I think even more importantly for me is having them experience the movement and what it's like to learn through movement, right? Because a young developing child, an infant, and even older children, that's how they're getting to know their world, is through their sensation and through moving. And I think embodying that and seeing that, so that in that moment when your child is learning, you have a sense of it, a sense of awe. You can let them be, to explore. You can help to create a situation or circumstance that really encourages them to explore themselves.
Oh, that is wonderful. So better mobility, better posture. Did you notice I sat up straight? So speaking about posture. Stress and tension relaxation. What are a couple other benefits?
Yeah, so people come to it. You asked earlier why do people come to the method, and people come to it for so many reasons. I've worked with artists, especially a lot of musicians and actors, dancers. Like, what are your habits of movement and being that might be inhibiting your performance? So you can come to enhance your performance. Even athletes. Right? All sorts of athletes come to the method. But then, of course, there's a lot of people who also come because they have pain and discomfort, and they'd like to move towards a greater sense of ease. So it can be anywhere along the spectrum. And then, especially with children, but adults too, anything that is really going to help them to learn. So a lot of children who have had brain injuries, it could be cerebral palsy, could be a child that's had a stroke in utero, just after utero. Adding the Feldenkrais method into their other therapies can be very useful. very useful.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for being with us today. I greatly appreciate it. This is very informative and educational. If you would like to reach out to Buffy, you can reach her at buffy@consciousmovements.com or www.consciousmovements.com. I do hope you found our guests to be informative and enlightening. If you would like to, please feel free to reach out to them with any questions you might have about their products, services, and modalities. Or you can reach out to me, Lisa Marie Tersini, at Inspiring Wellness Solutions, Lisa Marie at Inspiring Wellness Solutions. Very excited to share with you that due to popular demand, Tune Into Wellness Today will be aired twice a month in January. Therefore, you will have the opportunity to see 6 wellness practitioners each month on Tune Into Wellness Today instead of 3. Our next guest for the first segment in January will be Barbara Gilman with Success Strategies for Life, Jennifer Zhao with OrganiWorks, and Carolyn Coogan with Natural Awakenings. We invite you to join us in January to see these wellness practitioners, learn more about them. We thank you. Happy holidays and see you next year.